and welcome back to the channel. And if you're here for the very first time, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we've got no debt, we've paid off the mortgage and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we open our home and invite you in for a mid-week money chat. Now this week we're going to have a chat about shoestring retirement. Now an awful lot of people who retired, it isn't their plan to live on a shoestring. It isn't their aim when they are working to live on a shoestring. But circumstances are such that it is increasingly difficult to save much for retirement or have a big pension for retirement. So increasingly, even by choice or by circumstance or not by choice, and more often by circumstance, more and more people are finding themselves in retirement having to stretch whatever money they have or whatever pension they have as far as they possibly can. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Now you know me, if you've been here before, I do like to be reflective, and there are things that we all need to reflect on as we are approaching retirement, or as we were when we were approaching our retirement. And there are questions that we need to all ask ourselves and to be kind of retirement ready. And the first question to ask yourself is, are you debt free? Have you cleared all the debts? Do you not owe any money on a card? You don't owe any money at all. You don't owe any money on your credit cards, for example. The next one, which is really important to consider before any type of retirement, is have you paid off your mortgage? Because you can retire on less if you do not have that massive housing cost. The next one to reflect upon is to ask yourself, is your property in good condition? If our property was not in good condition, thinking back to the days that we lived in the UK, what we probably would have done was worked maybe 2 or 3 years more and done things such as saved up and put a new roof on the house, or saved up and put in new windows, or saved up and put in a new heating system. So that's something to consider as well. Is your house in good condition? The next thing to consider is your property manageable? And what I mean by that is the property that you live in, is it manageable? Can you actually afford the property tax? Can you actually afford the insurance? Can you actually afford to heat it? Can you afford to maintain it? If the answer to all of those is no, say, well, I am debt free and I am mortgage free and my house is in good condition, but actually on my retirement income, it is far too much for me to afford all of those bills, you might be in the consideration of something that we did, which is to move to a more manageable property, which is more affordable to run. Not going to work and being retired saves you money. Let me explain it to you. We used to spend £50 a week just getting to work, just putting fuel in the car and getting to work. And it would be more than that now, because we retired in 2018. So think of how much that would cost now. If you live in some parts of the UK or some parts of the world, your getting to work costs could amount to thousands a year. A train pass in and out of London, thousands a year, literally thousands a year. If you work in a city, you may get to work and you may have to pay to park your car. You may have to pay congestion charges. You may have to pay environmental charges. You don't have that when you're retired. When you go to work, I can't think of any job in the UK where you could just go to work and rock up in some kind of casual clothing. When I think of anything from sales to working in an office, working in a bank, working in education, huge amount of jobs. You go to work, you are suited and you are booted. You can't rock up in casual clothes. You need really good quality clothes. I would go out every single year when I was teaching and probably spend around £500 to £1,000 a year just on my work clothes and my work shoes. I would need really good work shoes. I couldn't wear the same pair of shoes day in, day out. My back wouldn't cope with that kind of, because of being on my feet all the time. I'd need really good shoes. I couldn't just rock up in a pair of Skechers trainers. I'm talking about really good quality shoes. My shoes would cost me at least £100. I would need those. I couldn't turn up to work without makeup on, without my hair done. I would need to look the part. And then in the workplace, there's always somebody retiring, there's always somebody having a baby, there's always somebody who's sick, and you have to give a donation. You know, you can't get away with less than about £10. Anything less than that, you look really miserly and stingy. There's the Christmas work due. There's the retirement work dues to go to. There's all of those things that have some kind of financial obligation just to get you to work. We worked out by not going to work, the immediate effect of not going to work is it actually saved us thousands a year in not having those expenses. When you're working, your time isn't your own. You've sold your time to somebody else who pays you for your time. But it's a huge chunk out of your life. We used to spend 50 hours a week away from our home, from the time of going to work to them actually getting home again. And I consider all of that time, including commute time, time at work, 50 hours a week. So we've taken that away now, haven't we? So once you're retired, you get 50 hours of your time back, and time becomes your economic superpower. Let's get into how having all of that time saves you so much money. One of our biggest expenses, and it's probably one of your biggest expenses as well, is just staying alive, isn't it? And feeding ourselves, that food budget. Often if we look at people's budget, that bit is huge. It's huge for us. It's the biggest number on our budget. And this is where, when we're retired and we have time, that even though it's the biggest one, we've really reduced it. We've really made it as small as we possibly can, even though it's the biggest one. We promise you we've made it smaller. And let's run through it. When you are at home, you've got time to cook yourself, to meal plan, to batch cook. You've got time to shop around and find the best deals. 1 week, I can go to one supermarket and get all the best deals. And then the next week, I can go to a totally different supermarket and get all the best deals. I can split my shopping. I can buy all my meat once every 3 months when there's a massive deal on, and stick it in the freezer because I've got time to meal plan. I've got time to plan. I'm not just picking shopping up on a Friday night after work and rushing in there and hoping I can get everything on my list. Another thing that you can do when you're retired is you can shop on the right time and the right days. Lots of supermarkets will have their offers, and they'll be on a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday, and they'll be on those days, and then that's it. That's it for the month. But you, because you're retired, you can get there on the right days and the right times. Our supermarkets here have all the reduced food, the short date food. The meat is going to go out of date at the end of the day. It's the vegetables, the fruit, whatever, it's going to go out of date this day. So I'm able to get in there like you can. If you're retired, you can pick, you know your supermarkets, when they reduce things, you can shop on the right day and the right time. You haven't got any work constraints, and that saves you masses and masses of money. All the things as well that you've previously paid other people to do. You can clean your own windows. You can maintain your own house. You can look after your own garden. You can wash your own dog because you don't need a dog sitter. You can do everything to look after yourselves. You can colour your own hair if you wanted to. You could do your own nails if you wanted to. This isn't something that you have to do in a rush after work. You can look after your house and maintain it. You can do your own painting, even if it takes you time. I was just thinking about painting a door and a door frame. Whereas before I used to have to rush to do that at the weekend. Now I can do one coat one day. I can leave it to dry for 2 days and let the paint really harden. Go back 2 days later, put another coat on. You've got the time. Really, I'm going to keep talking to you about this today, that time really is your economic superpower. When I reflect back on those days of getting to work, and we used to travel on a road that, if you live in the UK, you'll know this, and you know it's one of the busiest roads, on the A38 every single day. And when you drive on a road in the UK, it's literally like playing chicken. You've got cars coming at you, coming into you, coming at you. There's no flyovers, there's no fly-unders, there's nothing. You've just got to get on and off the road. You've got to stop on that road and turn off it. It's challenging. And in some cases it can be stressful. So you don't have that. So in retirement, without all that commuting, without all that toxic workplace. Do you remember all that stuff in the workplace where they want you to do 3 times more work than they actually pay you to do? They want you to do your job and somebody else's job because they've made cutbacks. They've passed it on to you for less money. You know how it goes. So let's talk about health and well-being when you are retired. You have got time to have a really good diet. You've got time to eat healthy food. You've got time to sit and digest your food. You've got time for a proper lunch break or a proper dinner time. You've got to lay the table, to pour out nice chilled water, to take time to digest your food afterwards. You've got time after your meal to go for a walk. Really, really healthy for you. You've got time to exercise whenever you want, to get your bicycle out whenever you want, to get on your static bicycle whenever you want. You've got time to stick on YouTube, get and do that Pilates class or the yoga class or the stretches or the exercises. You've got time for all of that stuff for well-being. You've got time to socialise, to say to friends, look, anytime you like, we can meet up for coffee. Come on round, I'll make some biscuits, cookies, we'll sit and have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee and a chat. You've got time for that. You've got time for your family, you've got time for your friends, and all of those has a massive investment in your well-being. And as I said, time is your superpower. It really is. You have got time for your health and well-being. You've got time to read. You've got time to do your garden. You've got time to learn new things. You've got time to use an app for free to learn a new language. You've got time to learn a new craft. You want to learn how to crochet? You want to learn how to paint? You can do all that for free these days. If you want to volunteer, you want to go to an animal rescue place and walk the dogs for free, pet the dogs, cuddle the kittens, do all those things. Foster kittens, foster dogs, all of those things. Time, as again, is your economic superpower, and this time it's an economic superpower that massively boosts your well-being. The next bit I'm going to talk about without trying to look smug. So I'm going to wipe the smug face off me at the moment. And it's all the things that you can do when you are retired off peak and it's cheaper. And I've got a list here. So let's go through this one. We go out on our wedding anniversary, and a couple of years ago we went to an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet on our wedding anniversary. And there was a queue outside at 12 o'clock because it was like a Wednesday or something like that. It was definitely not the weekend, but we went on a Wednesday. There was a massive queue outside, and it was like there was all of these retired people, older people there. You know there's a bargain if there's all the retired people there. And when we got in and we looked at the price list and the menu, the price list was, if you went on a Monday, Tuesday or a Wednesday, it was way cheaper than if you went on a Thursday or a Friday. And Thursdays and Fridays were way cheaper than if you went on a Saturday and Sunday. And if you went at a lunchtime, and don't forget, it's the same thing. It's the same buffet. It's the same all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. And it was cheaper. So there's a massive advantage to being retired. You can find all of those places that are cheaper on certain days. Here's an example. I had a doctor's appointment. We went into IKEA afterwards. We went for a coffee because it's a good hour's journey away. We thought we'd use the bathroom and have a coffee. It was full of retired people, and I thought, well, they must be onto a good thing. Why are they all retired? Why are they all here on a Wednesday? What's going on here? And I looked up and I saw a sign up, and it was say crazy mercredi, and it was basically, and I looked at the sign. It basically said meals, the food was half price on a Wednesday. Can't benefit from that when you're working, can you? But you can if you're retired. And then thinking back to the UK, there's off-peak train fares and bus fares. So if you go after 9 o'clock in the morning, it's cheaper than before 9 o'clock. So all of us who used to go to work by bus or by train and had to get to work for sort of 8 in the morning, we were stung by the higher prices. Retired people, they could go when it was cheaper. And the last part of that, if you do want to go anywhere, if you want to have a break, if you want to go away for a few days, if you want to rent an Airbnb, or you want to go maybe stay in a hotel or have a little break or do something like that, you can go off peak, you can go on certain days, if you can go on certain months and it doesn't matter to you, you haven't got to book your time off at work, you can go whenever you want, you will find the cheaper deals. So there, even if you are on a shoestring budget and you want to put a little bit of money aside and have a little treat once in a while, you can find deals and offers to do it really affordably. I've saved the important one for last. Now there's certain fixed costs that we really can't do anything about. Our property taxes, our lighting, our heating, all of those things. There isn't much we can do about that except keep our costs as low as we possibly can. It's all the other expenses that can break our budgets. And this is the time where we can really work on our budget and get the very best deals. So, you want to look around to have your car serviced. You've got the time, because time is your economic superpower, to find the best deals. If you want to go and have your teeth done, say if you want to go for a descale and polish of your teeth, for example, you can find the dentists who might have fixed prices. We come from the UK and there were dental clinics there who had fixed prices. You could have a fixed price for a filling, you could have a fixed price for having your teeth cleaned, and you can have a fixed price for an x-ray even. But it takes time and effort to ring around and go on their websites and find out who these people are. If you have a heating system where you have oil or you have a gas tank or you have pellets, at certain times of the year their prices are slightly lower. And what you can do with good research and good budgeting is save for when those offers are on. We heat our house with wood. If I wait until I run out of wood and I want someone to deliver wood for me in October or the beginning of November when it's really cold, I will pay a premium. We get our wood delivered in August. We are out there in the hottest days with, several tons of wood being delivered, and we're moving it and stacking it then because we've got the time. Because as I keep saying, time is your economic superpower. When you are retired, you've got that time. So budget carefully for all of those things that are not fixed costs and you need to find better deals for. You've got time to do the research to get a really good insurance deal. Do shop around. We're pretty fed up with our insurers recently. We are going to change them and we will be shopping around for better deals. And it means every year or so we can change them and go and get a better deal all over again. Whatever I need for the house, whatever we need to do, we've got time. You haven't got the time when you're working to wait around for something second-hand to come up. Now we would like maybe another freezer in our basement to make the most of deals and offers. I can wait 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I don't mind, until I see one that's almost like new for sale, second-hand. And I've got the time for us to put the trailer on the car and maybe drive an hour and go and get it. So there you go. Time is your economic superpower, and although we can't change some of the fixed costs, we've got all of the time to shop around and carefully buy all of the things that have variable costs. A shoestring retirement is far more common than we think it is. And the opposite of that, the retirement where people are rattling around on cruise ships, or I don't even know what they're doing. I don't even know what these people who are not on a shoestring retirement are doing. So it's so removed from the life that I know. But most people will find themselves in one way or another having to budget when they reach retirement. If they have a fund of money, they're going to have to make sure it lasts longer. Or if you're British or you're European, or you've got an old style pension of money that comes in each month, whether that's some kind of government social security or state pension, or you have some kind of small annuity or private pension like people like Michael and I have that comes in each month, whatever it is, it's not going to be a whole pile of money, and it is going to be something that you budget carefully. And most people are actually out there doing their very best to make the very, very best of it. Thank you so very much for watching. We love to hear from you. We really enjoy your comments. We read every single one of them. And we know you like reading the comments as well. Are you coming up for retirement? What plans are you making for the kind of life that you think you're probably going to have in retirement, if it's going to be a shoestring retirement? Let us know, because like I said, we read all of your comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.